Hello, I hope you guys are doing well. In this video, I'll be going through the process of creating this animation. It's a simple hand wave animation, but from it, we can get a lot of quick and easy tips that you can definitely apply to your own personal projects. So things that we'll be looking at are just setting up reference in Blender, kind of getting started with keyframing in Blender. And we'll also be going into some animation techniques and principles. So it will be a fun one. Let's get started. So here in Blender, if we go to the video editor, we can see a very simple reference of myself just waving to no one. So that's nice. Yeah, so it's quite important to always try to work with reference as much as you can. It can be tricky for very intense or animated actions by your character, but for the most part, you want to kind of base it from a very solid reference. These just don't help you with the pose, and it also helps you with the timing, which you can then exaggerate, especially with stylized character. But it's always important to have a reference to work from. Having a good rig is also pretty nice for kind of getting good animation, because it allows you to have lots of controls to kind of move things around. Also, having one with FK/IK comes in handy too. So like for this pose, so if you don't know what FK/IK is basically the FK allows you to go in and pose a joint. But when you use IK, then you can easily move one controller, and then it kind of makes it easier to pose. So what are the two? When do one come in hand, and when does one? When do you use one or the other? For motions where the hands are moving a lot, and the torso is moving, especially like for walking, locomotion, motions, you want to kind of leave it in FK. At least that's what I do, because it's easier to kind of animate it, and it gives you almost more control. But IK, the strength of it's quite easy for posing. So you could just quickly pose it, and then you can move the whole target. But when the torso is moving, you can easily run into this stuff where you just end up trying to fix almost like a rubbery or stretchy stuff. So you want to ensure. So depending on your needs, sometimes you could still work with IK all the way through, but if you have a rig that allows you to switch, that's also good. So yeah, that's that for the rig. So you have your reference, you have a nice rig. What do you do next? So you just start posing. So I have some key pose. So we have one and one here when he goes forward, and then one that establish someone's the one that gets his attention, and then the wave and the wave, and then back to neutral. So with the key pose, your main goal is to just capture the key pose of the action. Fortunately, since we're using a reference and we can time it to the reference, we know the timing will be right, at least for now. So timing is not much of an issue for us at this point, so it's just getting the pose for it to read. Another advantage, or at least since this is kind of planned, so I know the direction he'll be looking at, so I can just plot the camera to that. And since I have the camera is going to be stationary, it's not going to be moving around. It also makes it easier to just kind of animate to the camera. So if we look around, if we look like in a 3D viewport, it looks like shit. But in the camera view, it looks way better. Okay, so once you have your key pose, we'll notice that the animation is playing like a kind of stop motion. And that's made possible because we are using um, the keyframe interpolation is set to constant. So if you have it set to constant, you have it moving this way. So we could switch this to Bezier. This to Bezier too. And now if we play it, we can see it's just floating. So when you're posing, you don't want to worry about like, does it feel right? You just want to worry about like, are you hitting those poles? So that's why it's advised you kind of walk with the interpolation set to constant. And I'm bringing this up by pressing T, and I believe you can go to channel, and you should be able to see it here. I'm very used to the shortcut. Okay, so we have it here, and you can see the shortcut. So you could switch it to different interpolation. So usually you're going from constant to linear and to Bezier. Okay, so once you have your key pose, right now we can see it's playing. It looks okay. I mean, if it's your very first animation, and it's a very good point. The next step is to improve on that. So if we can see we don't have much keyframe. At least the most density was added because of the wave. But most things are just the same. So if we switch this back to constant, okay, and play it, we can see it's the motions are relatively the same, but what we're doing different here is we're introducing more keyframe. So I've forgotten where I had this, but the reason your animation looks weird when you do when you try to follow the steps, so you usually have like the key poses, and then you get the breakdown, and then you can just go on from there. The reason it looks weird or not looking as you desire is because you're trying to let the computer interpolate a lot of things for you. So if you want to kind of have control over that, that's where you need to keep adding keyframes as much as possible to points where you need to behave a certain way, so you kind of control the entire process rather than letting Blender or Maya do the calculation for you, which sometimes it could work, sometimes you could not get your desired result. So that's what we're doing with like the key pose plus. So previously we just had one keyframe here, and then we had another, but now we are introducing one and then another, and then you could call this breakdown, but I will show you the breakdown next. But so we're introducing more poses to kind of hold things better, and so before he turns, we've already kind of established the pose, and so we are kind of controlling how Blender will kind of interpret the animation back to us rather than just trusting that it would do the interpolation. So that's kind of the mindset that you need to have when inserting keyframes. And then we add keyframes for the wave. So one other thing that usually, that at least that I was kind of curious when I was starting, was like, once you insert your keyframe for the key pose, usually you would like select everything and insert keyframe for those key pose. Should you do the same thing for, like, let's say keyframe plus your breakdown? So ideally, at least what I've learned from this exercise is, no, you should not, for the keyframe plus or whatever breakdown, you want to just insert keyframes for those bones that you want to kind of to retain that pose, or you want it to have a specific pose. Because if you go ahead and insert keyframe for all the bones, even those that you don't move, it might give you more work later to start going in and cleaning it. So it's one way you can kind of speed things up and to just avoid almost like a blocky animation because it's keeping the pose for everything and there's no smooth transition. So you want to just, like for example, the hips, I was interested in keeping this pose, so I inserted keyframe for that, and right here same thing. But I doubt for the shoulder I'm not interested in holding that pose, and we can see from here to here we don't have any keyframe for that. Yeah, so that's the key pose plus. So let's go to another file. So we'll be going to the breakdown. We can go ahead and hide this. So even from the key pose plus, I've already kind of introduced like the smoothing, and if we play it, so the animation is smoother. Things that I need to hold are holding, and it's looking better. So now when we go to the breakdown, so here we're adding anticipation and kind of some more thoughts to the motion. So for example, so we come to the first pose here. So just before he moves, we are kind of anticipating it. So if we look at the hands, and kind of same thought, you're just inserting keyframe for where you want the actions to kind of happen. So we're anticipating the hands moving. So we kind of start breaking it down to give it more thought process into its actions. Like I think for the head, so we have one here, the head anticipates and then moves. So even the reference helps, but at certain point you need to start taking some creative liberties to kind of really make things look good. Okay, so we're talking about stylization. So like we said, this is a live footage that I'm referencing from, but I wanted to introduce some stylization. So my opportunity was right here. I mean, this is not a natural motion, but I wanted to almost emphasize like he's raising his hands up, like almost like there's a heaviness to it. So someone caught his attention, and it's something he didn't intend to do. So like like adding like some weights to the hands kind of emphasizes that okay, this is going out of my way, and it just gives the animation more character. So that's some opportunities you can start. You can take a real reference and use it for timing and like some grounded poses, and from that point you can now go ahead and exaggerate things, and you can exaggerate not just the poses, you can also exaggerate like the timing. You can speed some part up, you can slow some part up, some part down, but it's important to always work from a grounded source. Yeah, so I mean, this kind of covers it. It's going in, looking at your reference, seeing where you can introduce some anticipation. So we can see from this wave, so we have one wave, but we're adding like some anticipation to the wave to give it more character. Yeah, so these are things you might not see, but you would feel. So this is where you add it. For this particular animation exercise, it's not very pronounced, or the breakdown is not really obvious as, like, let's say walking. But in most cases, that's kind of the principle you just keep in your head. Um, that's the point where you kind of add some thought to the action. I think if, let's say, if I open the final one, I think there's a point I can touch on. Okay, so here I kind of introduce some of my personality with the hips of how I kind of move my hips. So these are things you can play with. I will just open that. I think I never mind. But yeah, so these are things you could play with once you've gotten the key pose. So you just want to worry about getting solid pose to start with, and you slowly start building it up. And yeah, so I would like to go into more in-depth case by case basis. Probably I'll do more tutorials like this covering animation, but let me know in the comments if you have questions regarding any questions you have and anything you would like me to elaborate on. Yeah, so that will be it for this video. I hope it was informative and helpful. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you wish to see more from me, don't forget to subscribe. So bye bye for now. See you next time.